All right, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a blessed up Sunday, and hopefully you can hear me good. So today we're going to be talking about you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. And Michael Beckwith said this perfectly. So how this got inspired, hopefully you guys can hear me great. You don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. And Michael Beckwith said this perfectly. I shared some of my stories that I've been doing some deep cleaning. I've been going through files and organizing since I'm pulling files since 2008. And as I'm going through these files and I'm going through my older folders, I am looking at my goals. It's like podcast, webinars, workshops, build out courses, and do all these things. And I'm looking back from 2008 and I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm like, my goals are the same. And some of them I've achieved and the others I'm still on the journey of acquiring. And so when I read this quote, you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. It was so right on. And I look back and I'm like, man, if I would have started, so how many of you guys say this? If I would have started in 2008 when I'm looking through all my folders and I'm doing some deep cleanup, I would have probably already blown up, right? How many of you said that if I would have started or if I would have stayed consistent with this goal or this XYZ, I would have already been super healthy. I would have been a millionaire, a billionaire. I would have been da 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 da. But we can't go back because it doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. But what I've noticed, because as I'm going through all this stuff, I'm like, what happened? What happened and how do I shift the pattern and the behavior? I'm going through, I'm looking at folders. I'm like 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2020, 2021, 2023. And I'm like, shit, man, my goals are the same. And there hasn't been a consistency. I would start, I'd get overwhelmed and I'd stop. I'd start, I'd get overwhelmed and I'd stop. I'd get distracted, I'd get diverted. And then, so how many of you have felt that way where you started something and you got distracted or life happened and you flopped on your goals? You flopped on your vision. What's up, Cash Money? What's up, Coach Paulina? I think we got Trevor on. So how many of you guys have done that before? I'm literally doing deep cleaning and I'm going through these folders and my heart starts hurting. I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart hurts because I would have already had a top best-selling podcast. And I'm doing in the process of even a relaunch with the podcast. So I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, what happened? What happened, T? What happened, Tanya? What happened to your consistency, right? You said yes. And so I'm looking at this quote by Michael Beckwith, and it says, you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. And then I look back at patterns, right? There's not only overwhelm, but a big pattern for a personality trait is we get bored. We get bored, it's not exciting, it's not fun anymore, and we get diverted. Then there's something else going on. Like, oh, well, maybe podcasting isn't it for right now. Maybe I'll jump over to webinars. And then it's all these jumping, leaping, like a little leapfrog, like a little leapy frog on these little leap pads. I don't know what they're called. Yes. So I'm glad you say this is what I'm going through right now. Okay, I'm going to share a solution and a strategy with you in a second, but I wanted to bring this up because a lot of the courses, I get asked this all the time, like, how did you get into this work? I got into this work because I understood I needed consistency. Getting things up and running has never been a problem for me. I'm like the queen of getting things up and going, but the consistency was always an issue. The follow through was always an issue until it wasn't. So you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. And I'm going through these things and then I'm like, okay, well, we get bored, right? So it's part of the personality. You get bored, you're not stimulated anymore. And then we get what we're interested in. So something that I learned in 2011, the first time I ever learned about the life wheel, and I've added things to this. So if you guys don't know, this is a life wheel, like the little wheel of fortune of your life. And there's different subcategories in here. We've got home, growth, career, family, materialistic, fun, contribution to society, your intimacy, your romance, your health, your money, your home. We kind of like broke it into these other things. Of course, I kind of put like family, friends together in here. And when we're trying to do too many things at the same time, we end up getting nothing done. Now, when I learned about this in 2011 when I went to one of my the first time I ever invested in my personal growth and development there was this mastermind. He's one of my mentors, Todd Durkin. He is the guru, the top performer in San Diego when it comes to strength and conditioning, performance, life coaching. And I went to his mastermind in San Diego. I didn't have the money, but I borrowed the money. And one thing I will tell you guys is you've got to stop sleeping on your growth work. Stop sleeping on your growth work. It is one of the greatest investments. You will always gain a return on investment with everything that you're doing. You might not see it right away, or you might not see like the dollar signs, because I know sometimes it's hard to track, but betting on yourself is never a bad investment. So you have to stop sleeping on your growth work. So 2011, I fly out to San Diego. I borrow the money from my friend. I use their credit card, and I ended up paying them back in like increments because my business started scaling like maybe 5 months after. And I go to this mastermind. It was a 3-day event in San Diego, and I learn about the life wheel. So I'm learning about the life wheel. It was broken down maybe like in, I don't know, maybe like 8 sections of it. And I added a few extra based on working with clients, and then also wanting to break it down a little bit more. And I go to this event. So I'm looking at this, and it's almost like kind of like creating this vision board for your life. And in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't work for me. I don't have a vision because of past history of having a yo-yo impact with my goals. So I started having an unhealthy relationship with goal setting, and I started having a really low cap belief system around what I wanted. I stopped wanting what I wanted because I didn't believe I could have it anymore. And so I had a really small ceiling. We all have ceilings within our dreams and our visions. And a goal is just, what do you want? What do you honestly want out of your life? And that is such a big, broad question. That's why I feel like when we come back to the life wheel, we're able to subcategorize, well, I want this in this area, and I want this in this area, and I want this in this area. And it makes it a little bit more simpler because we can look back at these areas of life and be like, okay, well, this is what I want. But what is your ceiling for believing what you are capable of achieving? So when we go back to this wheel, a few they didn't cover, number one, the relationship that you currently have with your life and the different subcategories of those things, and then also your belief system around it. So number 2 questions to ask is, what is my relationship around these categories in my life? And what is my belief system around these categories of my life? Yes. Well, we got to get you back on course. And the way to shapeshift belief, and thank you for being honest about that, Paulina. The way to shapeshift a belief, or to shapeshift doubt into certainty, is by doing the damn thing and proving to yourself that you're capable of more than what you think you can do. And a lot of that comes down to the consistency. So as I talked about earlier, a big part of self-mastery is being honest about your personality and your patterns and your behaviors. And when we're honest about our patterns and our behaviors and knowing like, hey, I crave stimulation. I am a stimulation junkie wherever I can get it. That's why maybe you're not following through with your body goals. Maybe you're not following through with your financial goals. Maybe you're not following through with your business stuff. Like, it's not always fun and games. You can figure out how to enjoy the process, but you can't rely on your emotional state and your feelings when it comes down to achievement. Yeah. My mind tells me yes, my body tells me no, or something like that, whatever, how I was saying. Yeah, so not trusting in myself and not believing, freezing, and that just comes down to having a plan. And I want to talk about this too because it intertwines, and thank you guys for being so transparent because that's what these are about. But it comes down to it's not always necessarily the plan that fails us, it's that we fail the plan. Now, I want you guys, I wanted to create something very, very simple. And I've been having conversations with friends that are really, really high achievers and very successful. And they're like, Tanya, how are you measuring and how are you tracking X, Y, Z? I'm like, people are already overstimulated. They're overwhelmed. Don't want one more app. We have to keep it so freaking simple. So freaking simple. So you guys, this accountability calendar, you print it out and you just track the days that you show up for yourself. And this will help you transition your doubt into certainty that, hey, it's not the plan, it's me. The plan didn't fail me, I failed the plan. And we don't get what we don't get. The reason why you don't get what you want is because you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. So if you're easily getting distracted and diverted and kind of jumping like a little froggy, like from leap pad to leap pad to leap pad, and you're not in yoga, they say one point of focus. 1 point of focus. But if you're setting too many goals at the same time and you're overdoing your plate and you're burning yourself out, and these are all things that are part of a high achiever personality trait, especially if you're not somebody who can delegate 1,000 things just right now in this season of your business and in your life. You have to also be honest with let me master something and let me identify what are the priorities in my life right now, and let me follow through with this thing until I achieve it. And you can change, because I talked about this yesterday. There are going to be things where you can be doing amazing and life throws you off your plan and you can't follow that plan anymore because let's talk about the body, for example. Maybe you get sick. Maybe you get injured. You have to have ankle surgery and you can't follow the plan that was built out for you, and your brain doesn't know how to pivot. And that happens as well. But the thing is, we want to start to program ourselves as I am staying on course. I'm not changing the goal. I'm just figuring out what can I do and how can I maybe change the path to get me to that final destination. So there's multiple paths to get you to that end destination. And so when I learned this over in California, I went and I was having a really hard time. I was beating myself up because I wasn't able to have a vision, or my beliefs weren't really there. And then I started doing a deeper dive into wait a second, what ideally, if I know that I don't get what I want, and I'm not getting what I want because I don't love my life. I don't love what's in my life. I'm not excited about it. They kind of just feel average, but I know, and I know you guys know too, you're meant for greatness. That's why you're not happy with where you're at, because it might be average for you. And if you are somebody that craves more out of life, you are designed for extraordinary, not ordinary. And those that are interested in extraordinary are going to receive extraordinary if they stay focused on course. Now, if you're easily distracted, jumping around on your beliefs and what you think about yourself, and you're so caught into this space of self-absorption, you also have to remember, by not showing up for the things, you are being irresponsible. It's being irresponsible to not take care of yourself and to pour life into yourself and to prophesize over your goals, to prophesize over your business, to have a positive expectation and a positive idea on how you're serving and what you're pouring into and what you're interested in. Because this also comes back to the very beginning phases when you start to think about, why did I even get into what I'm into? Why did I even get into what I'm into? I love helping people. But when my head gets so caught up in numbers or caught up in, I can only limit myself of how much information I'm giving out, like because somebody else told me that I give too much. Like, that's my heart. I am a overgiver. If you're in any of my courses or my masterminds or my coaching clients, I do not hold back. I give every single thing that I can. And I practice these because there's so much information out there that I'm trying to just focus on like one topic every day. Yeah, you do have what it takes, because if you didn't have what it takes, God wouldn't have planted the desire inside of your heart. Boom. That desire is planted inside of your heart. What you want, if you are not protecting what you want and you are not focused on what you want and you are not doing everything possible to stay on course to what you want, you're being irresponsible. You're being irresponsible with a gift that God has given you inside of your heart, because that's your job with the power of free will to now show up for it in order for it to be created. And one thing that I learned when I started getting into energy psychology around 2004, but kind of like dabbling a little bit, is that, and then really getting into it like around 2000 and, when did I really get into my yoga practice? Probably like 8 years ago. I was like super consistent with it where it became a part of my lifestyle. When I really started getting into that stuff, something that I learned with The Secret Prayer, there's a book called The Secret Prayer, and they talk about the law of attraction. They talk about like how we're able to achieve anything that we're wanting out of life. And it comes down to a 3-step formula. It's emotion plus intention plus action equals you getting the results. Now here's the tricky part. So you get what you're interested in. You don't necessarily get what you want, you get what you're interested in. So this is where this intertwines. If you have a negative emotion around what you want and you're foggy minded and you're not clear and you're dabbling between what you want and where you are and you're focused on the gap and you're doing forceful action, you will get an undesired outcome. So your life is direct reflection of what's going on internally and also externally, based on the way that you move, the way that you think, the way that you behave, the way that you're taking action in your day-by-day life. Now, elevated emotion, speaking life into your goals, speaking life into your vision, having a positive expectation. I don't know if anybody's going to show up for these live streams, but I love talking and sharing that. I know somebody's going to watch the replay. I have the intention that I'm about to speak life into somebody and give them hope and get them back up in the game. Maybe somebody's going to want to do some coaching with me after, but I don't have an expectation behind it. So, well, I have a positive expectation. So positive and elevated emotion. I love, love, love this stuff. And I have so much I want to share with you guys. I have an elevated emotion, a clear intention. I took a moment and I took notes down on what I want to talk about. And these pieces are also inside of my book. So my book isn't also being hidden. I'm talking about this stuff inside of my book of building the new. And then I have a clear intention, elevated emotion, and inspired action. Inspired action stems from inspiration. Inspiration is in spirit. It's inside of me. You guys have something inside of you that is just waiting to come out so that you can share it with the world. I'm just all about the clapping in my threads. I was like, you guys are sleeping on your growth work. Stop sleeping on your growth work. Stop sleeping on your dreams. Stop sleeping on your life. Sleeping on your vision. Like, time to wake up and get moving. Every single day counts. And then you get the desired outcome. Now, sometimes there's a space and a gap as far as like when you actually get to receive your blessings in the creation space of it. For example, let's talk about the body, because everybody has one. That's why people get impacted by money in the body every single day, because it affects us every single day. If you are working out, you're eating healthy, you're getting great sleep, and you're like building yourself up, you are going to eventually receive a wonderful body. The body's going to change. The body's going to be toned. The body's going to be healthy. You're going to glow. You're going to have your glow up because of how you're taking care of yourself. Now, you're not going to get it in your first workout if you've neglected your body for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But over repeated repetition and consistency and staying interested on what you want and then feeling good about it, taking action, inspired action. Well, we don't always inspire to be go working out, but like that eventually you get to reap the benefit of having a nice, strong, toned, healthy body. But if you are neglecting and you are not taking care, you're not going to see it in the first day. It might take you 6 months. It doesn't even take a month. You're going to feel better in a month. You're going to feel better in 2 months. Maybe people are going to start to notice a little bit of difference in 3 months, but you're going to see a whole completely transformative transformation in anywhere from 6 months to a year. It's the same thing with your growth work. If you've been operating and behaving and your personality is a certain way, it's going to take about a year, depending on how old you are, of reprogramming and shape-shifting, and it is a daily effort. It's a daily intention. It's a daily transition every single day. Same thing with your business. Business is not going to be built in a month. It could take years. I've been doing this for 18 years. I still don't have it figured out. There's still other goals that I'm striving to achieve. But every single day, you put it out there. You don't get what you want. You get what you're interested in. I know you guys like the clapping. I'm going all out. But what I want to say is we also need a way to measure our progress. And that's why, you guys, this is free. I also, when I follow my program, I do see the results. When I base it based on, let me see, I already know what I'm doing, I'm just going to do it. No, because I have bigger goals, I have bigger visions, and I'm still in an adjustment phase. Those are called adjustment phases when you're setting new targets, new goals for your life and for your business and for your body and for all this stuff. And sometimes you're like, you negotiate your goals. You don't feel like it. You're not in the mood. You get it. You're bored. You get excited from something else. And this is where it comes back to follow the plan. You can change the path, but don't change the goal. If you've taken time to, number one, hire a mentor to create a higher ceiling for you, invest in courses. If you can't necessarily invest in one-on-one, join a mastermind, join an inner circle. We've got inner circles where even listening to you guys, because I understand the accountability is such a big part. I've got coaches. I'm in masterminds. Because I have ceilings and I don't want those ceilings anymore. Because I know that I was designed for greatness. I was designed to impact, and I'm being irresponsible if I'm not investing to figure it out so that I can help impact more people. If you know you have a gift, if you know you can serve people on a higher level than the level that you're playing at right now, then you're being irresponsible if you're not pouring into yourself, into your business, into your growth, and finding somebody that's going to help get you there, whether it being accountability, support, skill set, whatever you're needing. And so that's the message for today that I really wanted to share with you. Let me see if I covered everything. If procrastination is the one thing, so there's also the procrastination course, because I know that's a big reason why people aren't moving forward. I also have that too, but I would say just download the free accountability calendar. This is free. If you guys want to hop on a call for doing a 30-minute strategy call, we can do that as well. TanyaColiver.com/call. And then if it's a procrastination thing, then there's a link in the bio you can do for the procrastination. But this is totally free. We have Inner Circle team huddles every Thursday. If you're interested in the team huddles, it's every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we meet. We talk about so many different things, one category per time, and we actually break it down. We give you system strategies, and then the rest of the week is integration. Still have only 3 more openings for one-on-ones. And then also, what do we got going on? And we've got the self-study courses. So if you guys are interested in any of them and you resonate with me and you resonate with my energy and you think like it's going to be a good fit, then send me a message. We'll schedule something and go out there and go get back interested into what you want, reclaim what you want. Because if you don't, it's just doing a disservice to others and to yourself. And, live this life, you guys. Go live this life. Go live this life. You deserve it. All right. I love you all. Thank you for spending some time with me today. And if there's anything that is heavy in your heart that you would like to be discussed, you can go ahead and send me a message and we'll cover that in one of them. But stay tuned because this is all part of the book that I'm writing, and excited to get it out there so that it can really help impact you and you can have it forever. All right. Love you guys. And I hope you have a blessed Sunday. And thank you for your participation. You're amazing as well, Paulina. All right. Bye, you guys.